Hello, everyone. Good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, depending on where you are. My name is Kwame Gonza once again. Today we've come to talk about Venezuela. Venezuela. We have gone to South America today. The government in Venezuela is struggling. Why is it struggling? The United States has come out, of course, once again to attempt to overthrow the government in Venezuela. Secretary Blinken and all the other American imperialist, groups have come out to condemn the vote which happened in Venezuela, and that vote was won by President Maduro. And other analysts, of course, have spoken extensively about what is happening in Venezuela. Analysts like Ben Norton, who have a YouTube channel called the Geopolitical Report, which extensively reports about neoliberalism and socialism, and especially he focuses a lot on spaces which have to do with South America. He's an expert on South America. But what we have noticed is that the United States, this is not the first time it is doing this. In its attempt, of course, to subvert different governments, as it is doing on the African continent, this thing is very, much of concern. This issue is of concern to us because the United States is doing the same thing on the African continent. But for Venezuela, it did not start today, actually. Even the previous elections, when President Maduro won the elections, the United States again came out to deny that President Maduro won this particular election. And therefore, even this time, we are seeing the behavior of the United States towards Venezuela. And it has been working studiously to try to overthrow the government there. Through elections, the CIA working with some internal elements, as we have seen in other parts of the African continent. It wanted to overthrow Venezuela. But why? We know that Venezuela is one of the richest countries also in South America. And the fact that Venezuela has the biggest oil reserves in the world. Many people talk about, Saudi Arabia, but we know that Venezuela has the biggest oil reserves on the international stage. It's just that Venezuela's oil has not been tapped. And what is the reason? Is because the United States has put so many sanctions on Venezuela that Venezuela has not been able to find those investors to come and invest in the country. And why has the United States put a lot of sanctions on Venezuela? Simply because President Hugo Chavez came and nationalized the resources. By nationalizing it, simply means that he came and took the resources and gave the resources back to the people, or he used the resources for the benefit of the country, for the people of these countries, and he took them from the United States corporations, which were exploiting them, just like what we are seeing in Nigeria. Imagine if a president came to Nigeria and nationalized Nigeria's oil so that the oil can benefit the people instead of benefiting American companies like ExxonMobil and Chevron. And these are the same companies, of course, which were there in Venezuela. And when President Hugo Chavez came, they nationalized the resources, which had been taken over by American corporations. And this is why, from that time, the United States has wanted to overthrow the government in Venezuela. And of course, they use all kind of, allegations against this government in Venezuela. These allegations have been numerous. And of course, they normally, rotate around simple three slogans: democracy, that is number one; two, human rights; three, freedom. These are the slogans. And I think it is the president of Burkina Faso who mentioned it also recently during the AES summit, which happened, I think, in Niger. It happened in Niger or Mali, one of the countries. That is where the AES summit happened. And President Traore spoke about it. He spoke about this, that the United States knows only a few things, and of course also the Western countries, talking about human rights, number one, freedom, and democracy. And even though they themselves, they do not, respect these tenets, they do not respect these tenets in their reality, because the government in Venezuela actually was elected by the people. The people elected their government. Now, because this government does not favor the interests of the United States, because this government does not cave in to the dictates of the United States, then the United States uses all types of tactics to try to overthrow the government, even though it was elected democratically. And we have seen this behavior for the United States is not new. For them, is not new, this behavior. So they continue to push it forward, even though it, whether it is the Democrats or the Republicans, all of them, they have the same policy. So that is why for us, especially in Africa, the global south, these groups, they don't make any sense for us. They don't make a difference. We don't see a difference between the Democrats and the Republicans, simply because their foreign policy is the same. It's about the exploitation of the global south. So that is why for us, they really don't look different. What are they saying? So Blinken, Secretary of State Blinken, who I call a benevolent, who wants to present himself as a benevolent imperialist, both of them with Jake Sullivan, Blinken and Jake Sullivan want to present, especially Democrats, the liberals. I will remember even Malcolm X spoke about these people, that they are more dangerous even than the the Republicans. That is what Malcolm X said. So Blinken and Jake Sullivan, who is a White House security advisor, present themselves. The two of them present themselves as benevolent, imperialists. All right, they tend to present themselves as benevolent imperialists. But when push comes to shove, normally they pull out their true colors. And for this case, we saw Blinken bringing out his true colors, and he came out as the Secretary of State, who is the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the United States, to congratulate someone who did not even win. So this is almost like subverting the the Electoral Commission, the institutions of Venezuela. So now Blinken has become the Electoral Commission of Venezuela, the electoral organizing body of Venezuela. It has become Blinken. Now he has come out to announce that Gonzalez, who is the opposition, who lost the vote, is now the winner. He came out to congratulate him as the winner. So which looks very weird. So the Secretary of State, he said that he voiced concern for opposition candidates' safety, while Venezuela government accuses Washington of leading a coup attempt. Of course, they are destabilizing the country using CIA tactics. All right, they are using CIA tactics of going in, and inciting people to demonstrate against their own government. So he came out to recognize and congratulate this guy called Gonzalez, Edmundo, for receiving the most votes. So now Blinken knows, even who was not there, Blinken was not there in Venezuela, now knows more about Venezuela's election than the Venezuelan people and the Electoral Commission within Venezuela. So which is, of course, disturbing. And of course, the government in Venezuela under President Nicolas Maduro, came out and, rebuked this attitude and is trying to stabilize the country. Why do we speak about Venezuela once again? Simply because the tactics of the United States have also been employed, in the African continent. Let me show you something. And of course, behind Blinken is also the support of this attitude by, the support of this attitude by other Americans, and even some people you would think that they are really reasonable. People like Elon Musk. Elon Musk also came out to support this coup that happened, which is of course very unfortunate. Elon Musk, we see that he came out to support this on his Twitter. And actually, Elon Musk has been, publishing a lot of fake news even in the past. For example, if you look at the Algerian boxer, female boxer who fought in France recently in Olympics, the one they were claiming that he was, she was, they were claiming that she was a transgender who was fighting with a male fighting against a female. It was not true. So, Elon Musk himself, he's not, even though he has credit for, advancing technology and electric vehicles, and of course, other things like, space technology and all that. But we see that he's also been prominent, in fighting against global South governments. We saw him in the past supporting a coup in Bolivia, for example. So Elon Musk also has become a divisive figure and someone you can say, he's out there promoting, false narratives and things which are right wing, which are white supremacist. So you can say on one hand that, he is promoting good speech with the acquisition of Twitter and turning it into X. But what is behind that motive of the acquisition of Twitter? Of course, it is what is driving Elon Musk himself, who will come later on and do an analysis on him. It is actually, right-wing politics that is driving, Elon Musk. And of course, we saw him coming out to support Trump openly. But even in this, for us, it doesn't mean that we support, the Democrats in the United States. Like I say, for us as Pan-Africanists, these groups are the same, and they tend to achieve the same objective in the, in the global South. The difference is that one group wants to achieve them openly, and then another group wants to hide behind, but it is also achieving the same objectives. And that is what we see, Elon Musk, and his activities, even though he may look like someone who represents like sort of interests of all people across the globe and free speech and all that. But what is hidden behind what we see in Elon Musk himself, supporting a government, supporting a candidate, or turning up against the Maduro government and supporting a candidate who did not win the election. And he's saying good, because when Blinken came out to declare, US declares Gonzalez victor. So how can the US declare a candidate the victor when the United States is not the one who is conducting these elections? So this is a disrespect and undermining of institutions of a country. And this is something which, of course, Elon Musk came out to support in broad daylight, which is, of course, very, very unfortunate. Now, the other thing which we saw, of course, that is unfortunate with the United States is that these tactics, the US has used them in the past. The US has used these tactics in the past in the African continent. And one of the prominent candidates who was discovered by the people that he was a fake candidate, is not useful, is called Bobi Wine in Uganda. All right. Now, during the previous elections, the United States claimed that Guaido, this guy you see in the picture here, Manuel Guaido, had won the elections. Juan Guaido, it's called Juan Guaido. Now, Guaido, the United States claimed he is the president. Okay, it claimed he's the president, and this is why I wanted to speak about this in regards to the African continent. The United States claimed that this guy won the elections against Maduro once again, and the guy even went to the United States, with Trump, and they were treating him as a big person, as an important person, to the extent that the United States even seized a company which belongs to Venezuela, which is called Citgo, which is a petroleum marketing company in the United States. And that company belongs to Venezuela. The United States seized that company and said they will give the money to Guaido. And this company belongs to the Venezuelan people. Okay, so these are the tactics which the United States uses, of course, with its allies in the West. All of them, they are trying to achieve, things by force. They are trying to take over things, property that belongs to the public by force. They want to take it by force and exploit them. And we saw even Britain also seizing Venezuela's gold in the past. All right. So, which is very unfortunate. Now, we speak about this because of the African continent. The person you are seeing here, together with the Juan Guaido, is Bobi Wine. Now, Bobi Wine in 2021, March 6, came out to publish, a tweet, on X, of course, which is currently X, on Twitter, which is currently X, and he said that he met Guaido. Now, the thing about Bobi Wine, who's a, who's a, Bobi Wine, who's an opposition candidate in Uganda, is that Bobi Wine had presented himself as a younger revolutionary, all right, to unseat the old generation. And Bobi Wine, who's called Chagulani Sentam, had presented himself even to the African diaspora as an alternative, because many of the African diaspora, they are tired of the old group of leadership on the African continent, the old group of presidentship on the African continent, who are not bringing about any change. Now, Bobi Wine presented himself to the country and even to the African continent and the African diaspora as someone who's going to bring that needed change, and help to drive the continent in a new direction. And of course, myself, I completely saw, the trap which Bobi Wine was laying, because I knew that he was supported by foreigners, all right, by these foreign powers, the United States and all that. And of course, we saw him also, Bobi Wine, going even to Ukraine, all right. So after going to visit Ukraine and claiming that he has gone to support Ukraine, he came out to post a tweet that he met Guaido. Now, let me show you what this says, what this tweet says. So what the tweet said is that Bobi Wine said that he was very pleased to meet with the Venezuelan president. Okay, he said that he was very pleased to have met with the Venezuelan president. Now, mind you, it is the United States which was calling Guaido a president. Okay, it was the United States which was calling Guaido a president before. Okay, but the whole world, all the countries in the world knew that Guaido was not the president. All right, all countries in the world knew that Guaido is not the president. So Bobi Wine said that he's very pleased to speak with President Guaido of Venezuela. Guaido, like we said, we repeat, he's not the president. He was not the president. Bobi Wine said that they discussed the way forward for both countries. Of course, he's talking about Venezuela and Uganda, and the need to build the synergies for the defense of democratic principles and human rights across the globe. Bobi Wine posted this on his Twitter media. Okay, now, many people came out to condemn Bobi Wine, of course, including the global diaspora, the African diaspora, the global African diaspora, because they realized that now Bobi Wine is a puppet. All right, he exposed himself, actually, because remember I said that he had originally presented himself as a Pan-Africanist. Bobi Wine had presented himself to the African diaspora as a Pan-Africanist. So this is when everyone really came out to understand that Bobi Wine was what? Was a puppet. Okay, so this is the interest, of course, for us in what is happening, in Venezuela, and of course the fact that there is a lot of people of African descent. So Bobi Wine came out to delete the tweet, immediately deleted the post, because he knew that people now have discovered him. So this is how, of course, imperialism operates. This is how imperialism operates, and we have taken time, of course, and some pain. We have taken time and even some pain to explain to our people, of course, how imperialism penetrates. Now, in the African continent, this imperialism has come out, and it has penetrated not only the sitting governments on the African continent, but this imperialism has also penetrated the opposition. So that means that we as Pan-Africanists, we have a lot of work to do. We really have a lot of work to do. But then what should we do about it for now? So I would like you to see that you put your, comments in the comment section. Put your suggestions in the comment section about what you think that we should do about this kind of situation and how things are going on the African continent. And the fact that imperialism has penetrated both the ruling class and the opposition groups. What do you think we should do about it? How should we handle it? Because it looks like we are surrounded from all sides as Pan-Africanists. Now, where do we go from here? Put your suggestions in the comment section and we will discuss about that. I've been engaging a lot of people who have been commenting on most of our videos. I've been in the comment sections interacting with a lot of you. So you continue this discussion, as we go forward. But for now, I want to appreciate you, everyone who's been out there supporting the channel, supporting the content we are creating on Connect Africa. I thank you very much once again. Thank you for being part of this. Share the channel, by the way, and like the video. I'm seeing 33 people up in here. Please like the video and share it with others and watch it to the end. Invite others to the platform. And if you are new to the platform, please subscribe to the channel, subscribe to the platform, and we will take it from there. Thank you so much. We will come back with another, broadcast once again. Be blessed.